Today we're going to start talking about 5 of the top reasons that you may not want to move to Indianapolis. So let's get to it. Hi, I'm Angela Sherrill with Own It Realty, and you can always reach me at my cell phone number at 317-373-4311. And I love to hear from you with all your questions about moving to Indianapolis and the surrounding areas. Plus, make sure you subscribe and click that bell so that you'll be notified every time we have new content that come up, because we do try to do this twice a week, so that you would have some new stuff to look at and see if Indiana is the best fit for you. So let's get into it. 5 of the reasons why you might not want to live in Indiana. So one of the number one reasons that you might not want to be here is Indianapolis is a pretty big city. If you look at it on a map, it's pretty large, and it's 17th in the country, if you want to look at it that way. But you're going to need a car to get around. We don't have a bus system. We have the Indigo, which you can get a bus pass and you can get on it, but it's not like your big cities where they have their mass transit and railways where you could go from one side of the city to the other and get there quick. Like, I was just visiting my daughter in New York this summer, and I was just so what would I say the word was? I was just like very intrigued of how that she doesn't have a car and she goes from one end of the city to the next, and it only takes 20-30 minutes. To get out to the airport, I think it's like an hour maybe for her where she lives to just get to the airport, so she has a way to get there. If you tried to do that on the bus line, you would have to make so many transfers to go from one side to the other, and it might take you a couple of hours to get there. So we're not the quickest to get around. So you definitely must have a car to be in the Indianapolis area. Now, saying that, you can rent a car. Like, you live downtown, you would be able to get to all the shops and everything. But when you want to go somewhere, you're going to have to rent that car to get there. Number 2, Indiana is known for hosting some big sporting events. We have one of the largest sporting events in the world, the Indianapolis 500, right here, just outside of Indianapolis in Speedway. So they host the Indianapolis 500, where 500,000 people can converge on our state. And they do, and they stay for a while. It's just not a one-day event. It starts the first weekend in May and it goes into the last weekend of May. So if you're not into cars, parades, and all that kind of stuff, then definitely we're not the place for you. We also hosted the Super Bowl. We've hosted the NCAA basketball championships. We've hosted the NCAA college playoffs, national championship. We just had that here just recently in Indianapolis. So if you're not into sports, because we are the amateur capital of the world, if you're not into sports, then this might not be the place for you. Number 3 on the reasons not to move to Indianapolis is our affordability. Now, this may be a con for some people, because our affordability in downtown Indianapolis is about $179,000, $180,000 to buy a home. But if you want to be in some of the better areas like Meridian, Kessler, Broad Ripple, Bates Hendricks, those are a little more expensive. They are way above our medium prices. And so it might be a little struggle for you. If you're wanting to stay down in the Fountain Square, Bates Hendricks area, that could be very costly too, to be in those areas. So what you might be able to afford may not be what you need. So if you're a family moving here and need like 3-4 bedrooms, this $180,000 just isn't going to be able to cut it for you. You're probably going to be very disappointed in what you find, and there's going to be a lot of competition for those properties. Number 4. Okay, so Indiana is known for its cornfields, soybean fields, pumpkins, watermelons. We got watermelons. There's big watermelon farmers down southern Indiana. We have apple groves, all those kinds of anything that you can think on a farm. We have cows, we have pig farmers, we have chicken farmers all here. So relatively, our landscape in and around Indianapolis is very flat, like really flat. I mean, back in the 1800s, they did what they call a clear cut. So they came through and just cut it all down, got it out of the way, used it for lumber to build whatever they needed, and built themselves some big farms. And yet that's pretty much, as soon as you get outside of Indianapolis, you will see them. You will see the big cornfields, and we can grow some corn. I mean, I can show you a video of myself where the corn is woo up here. So if you are looking for beaches or mountains, we just don't have it here. We have a river, nice big white river that flows through Indianapolis, and you can get on a little tubing, kayaking, canoeing, but you're not just going to have that extreme sporting if you were like out in Arizona going out the Colorado River, or out east, and they do a lot of stuff out in Virginia, whitewater rafting. We just don't have the mountains or anything for that, so it's going to be pretty. Sometimes you might even have, okay, here's a story. So I went with my sister, and she was like, let's go canoeing. I was like, okay, great. Well, guess what? It was like the summer that we didn't have but maybe 1 inch of rain in the month of July. Okay, 1 inch. So the river, Blue River we were on, we had to pick our canoe up and carry it pretty much half of the way. So needless to say, when we finally got on a piece of the river that was flowing, I got motion sick from it after eating a whole bag of grapes because I was starving, because it was hot and humid. And we'll get into that in the last con. But you know, we just don't have those kind of places. Now, when you get down in the southern part of Indiana, we do have a little more rolling hills. There's some skiing that can happen down there on man-made ski resorts. And, you know, we do have great parks. We have some great Dunes Park, Dune National Park way up north by Lake Michigan. And we have some great parks in the southern portion of Indiana. So I don't want to discourage you too bad, but this is one of the main reasons why you might not want to live here, is because there isn't those things. And if you're one of those people that need that, and it needs to be with a half an hour drive of you, this is not going to be the place for you. Number 5 is Indiana weather. We have a saying here that says, if you don't like it, just wait 15 minutes. It will change. So, I mean, you could start out a morning, it might be beautiful. By mid-afternoon, you get in the big clouds. You are on a full-blown tornado warning sirens, and we've got it. Tornadoes coming. We get ice storms in the late winter, sometimes in the middle of winter, just depending on how that polar vortex comes down. You'll have minus 30 degrees some days. Your gasoline might freeze up in your car. You will have the heat of the summer where it is so humid you can't breathe and causes pollen to stay in our atmosphere and not blow away, and you will have allergies like you've never seen before. And I remember that when I've moved back to Indiana 3 times. So one of the times I moved back, I was just like, literally, we moved back in the summer and I was just coughing and sneezing and my nose was running. I felt like I had a constant cold, and it was because of the allergies. Because where I lived before, it was very breezy. I lived in Ontario, Canada, between the two lakes, and so I didn't get that. And when I got here, it's like there's a bubble over Indiana, because we are kind of like in a little dip down in here, and it just hovers over you. So if you have any kind of allergies like that, you might want to test it out. Come here, see what it's like. But our weather can get to the extremes. But we can have some nice luscious summers. Like this last summer, it was very nice. We got a lot of rain, and it just evened itself out. And I don't think we had to even hardly water our lawns this last summer, but a couple of times. So if you have an ideal of what your weather needs to be, just know that Indiana is going to fluctuate a lot, and our winters will last until spring break, which usually starts in April for us. And we can see snow. Sometimes I've seen snow the first week of May, like really the first week of May. And sometimes we can get it as early as Halloween. So I remember one year the kids were out trick-or-treating and they all had to wear coats, and it was raining. And I've seen it where it snowed on Halloween. So, there's a big fluctuation. And then the next day, it might be in the 60s. Like this year during the winter, December, first couple of weeks of December, we had some very mild temperatures. It was 65. People were running around with t-shirts on. So it really is a big fluctuation. So you got to be prepared. Got to stuff those things in the back of your car so you're ready. I always keep a hat and my gloves and a rain umbrella, galoshes, whatever, because I'm out selling real estate, so I have to be prepared. You just never know what's going to happen here. So if you like these videos and you want to see more of them, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to know more about Indiana and some of the cons for living here, just stay tuned to my channel, because they'll be coming up shortly. And thanks, and have a great day.